Has life knocked you down? And are you trying to figure out how to pick yourself up? Join me in our conversation today as we just talk about steps by step how you can learn and how you can grow and how you can be able to change your perspective to become a better person and to get to the heights that God has intended for you. This is Krystalklia Talk and I'm your host, Sarah Njambi. And today I'm so delighted to have a very lovely young lady. I met her on the streets of social media and I invited her to join me in a show, and I'm so glad, Njambi, to have you today.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers. Let us know who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Njambi. I'm a life coach and I help women find clarity and regain balance in their lives.
Wow, that is awesome. And today we are talking about, given what's happening around us. With Corona, people have experienced a lot of losses. And you might be there. Maybe you've lost a loved one during this season, or you lost your livelihood. You had this job that, you had set your goals and you had everything going on for you. And right now you don't know what to do, with your life. Probably you're thinking about a business or you don't know where to begin. That's what we'll be talking about. How does one pick themselves up after incurring, a loss? Yeah.
That's a very good question because so much has happened.
That's right.
In fact, I keep joking. I say, you know what, we woke up and thought 2020 would be just another year.
That's right.
And in like a span of 3 months,
everything
our
changed.
whole world, exactly, the world as we knew it,
Yeah.
just pretty much overturned. I like saying we slept in one world and woke up in a totally different world. And I mean, this is something that has never been witnessed before, ever. So it's actually been quite a rough ride for many because there's no manual, there's no way you can say this is what happens when you have a global pandemic. And like you said, so many people have been affected.
That's right.
There has been the first one, the most prominent, loss of lives. People have lost people who are close to them, loved ones, which is very hard.
Yeah.
We've had loss of jobs. We've had emotional, how do I put it? Like going through a very emotional period, especially when there was a lockdown and we couldn't go anywhere, and that was a time where there was so much introspection because unaenda wapi? There's no work to go to, there are no clubs to go to, churches have been closed. Everywhere where people were running because they didn't want to face themselves were closed. So it was a very difficult period. But like you mentioned, difficult, yes, but we can still get out of it.
That's right. I believe so, because there's something that happens sometimes when if you had a very high-flying job, you've lost it, you had this lifestyle which you cannot maintain right now. It can bring you to a place where you feel stuck because what you knew what to do right now is not working for you. And I'm sure probably you're dealing with such people, you're coaching such people. How do you help them process and walk through now that process and come out stronger, and able to go on with their lives?
In fact, very good question. In fact, let's not talk about them, let's talk about myself.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite interesting. It's something that is not easy when you're coming from somewhere where whatever that was your source of identity.
That's right.
And then here you are, you lose it. For someone else, it could be, like you're saying, a job, a high-flying job, which affords you to get a big car, live in a certain neighborhood. Then all of a sudden, COVID happens, and then,
it's gone.
You've either lost your job or you have a pay cut and you can't afford the lifestyle. And people go through so much because what we have done very unconsciously is gotten our self-identity from those things.
That's right.
So that idea of, okay, who am I now? Who am I without this label that I had given myself? Who am I without this title? You know, I'd get into, perhaps I'd get into work and everyone is like, mkubwa, mkubwa. Now in the house, hakuna mtu anakuita mkubwa. So how do you deal with that? And from my own experience,
yes,
I went through such a phase in 2017 after I went through a divorce process. And same thing, coming from the identity of Mrs. So-and-so
that's right,
to, okay, now I am not. Okay, now I have this label on me. So, God, how do I move from here? How do I even take the next step? And who am I without this identity that society has put, that yes, as in for you to be a respectable woman in society, then if you have the title Mrs., then it adds to your identity. So who are you if you're not Mrs. So-and-so? Who are you if you're not a Mama So-and-so? Who are you if you're not this lady who has a big business or a big job? And it's something that it was quite an interesting journey, let me say that. Very hard, very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And for anyone who's going through this process, I always say the first thing is acceptance. Because most of the times we're not willing to accept. And I lost my job.
That's right.
So we still show up, people call you for big parties and you're still showing up. You don't have money in your pocket, but you don't want people to know. So
living a life.
Exactly. You're facing people, you have social masks on, you're not being your true self. And the first thing to do is to accept. And I lost my job and I'm here. And I got divorced and I'm no longer Mrs. So-and-so. And acceptance, in fact, I usually say, once you accept, that's 50% solved. Because the biggest part is saying, I am here, and this is what is going on. Most of the time, we usually look for coping mechanisms. So I don't want to deal with this, so I don't want to accept it. So what do? I'll either go for shopping, I'll do a lot of emotional eating, I'll eat a lot of food, or I'll look for, thank you, that's a very good one, alcohol, drugs, sometimes even friends, like mkoapi, I'm always, because I can't stay by myself, because I'm not willing to face myself and the situation I'm in. So sometimes even church, you'll find someone is in church on Sunday from like let's say 6 journey, and you have a family. I mean, please, if there are issues that you need to sort of at home, kupotelea kanisani, please serve God and then go home and sort out your issues, because most of the time we are usually running away and looking for different
trying to escape.
Exactly, that is it, trying to escape. So acceptance is the first part. Then after accepting, which is actually 50%, then what next? You know. And for me at that point, I was like, okay, here I am. I accept I didn't want this. This is not the life I had chosen. This is not the idea I had. But I'm here. So what next? And for me, I had to like change the story. The story I was telling myself of it's his fault, he's done this. It's I don't know whose fault. It's I blamed God. Until I started looking at myself and asking, okay, fine. So how did you get here? And it was such a hard conversation with myself. You know, just looking at it and saying, Alice, kuna vile. You know, you could have shown up this way and this way and this way and this way. And so I had to own that part. I always say sometimes even things that happen to you, they're not, you're not to blame. But moving from where you're at to where you want to head, to where you want to go is 100% your responsibility.
That's right.
Like what you're mentioning earlier, sometimes you go to work, you get a letter, you know, a firing letter. It's not your fault.
That's right.
And you can either sit there, get stuck, blame everyone, blame the government, blame your employer, I don't know, blame your spouse and all that. And it's true, it's not your fault to umefika hapo.
Yes.
But moving from that point is 100% your responsibility. Because most of the time, it's much easier to play victim.
That's right.
Yeah.
So true.
It's so much easier. But what we do when we play victim mode, then we lose the personal power to change.
Exactly.
Because I'm giving you, if I play victim, then I'm giving you the power to come and change me. You know, I'm telling you, come and fix me, come and fix my life. And I think as Kenyans tumezoea sana, because we usually say, serikali saidia, serikali saidia.
So true. Yeah.
But we don't say, okay, tumefika hapa na hapa na hapa na ndio usaidizi tuna need. No, you just come and sort our problems because we don't want to take responsibility. So
true. I think when you play victim, as you're saying, you don't take responsibility. And at the same time, because you're blaming somebody else, like you're saying, you're now waiting for them to change or do something that now will help fix you.
Exactly.
Or something like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And just from my own experience, at some point, my marriage was very rocky. I remember I was fasting and praying, and I'm like, God, fix him, you know, fix him, fix him, fix him. It's rare that we say, okay, God, fix me, you know. So how am I co-creating in this process?
That's right.
We rarely look at our own actions. It's so much easier to see the actions of the other person.
So true.
Than it is to see ourselves in action and go like,
even me, I'm at fault. You know, I'm contributing to the mess.
Exactly. It's always easier to see the other person's actions. So for me, that was a very huge part, and that's how I even ended up now with what I learned. I ended up now doing a lot of self-awareness coaching because I realized I thought I knew myself, but really there are so many things that I didn't know about myself. And most of the time they're usually just unconscious patterns that are there.
That's right.
And we keep on repeating the same things, but we don't understand where they're coming from.
So true.
Until now you get to the journey of asking yourself, so why do I do the things that I do? You know, how did I get here?
That's right.
And what can I do as Alice to move myself from this point to that point? And it might not even be something big. For example, if say you've lost your job, it may just be, so what can I do from here to? And the thing is, okay, fine, I was in IT, now I want to get into coaching because I love speaking to people. So even perspective is a very big thing. In fact, I keep on saying mindset is everything. Because you can sit and say, but then I've been fired and my life is over.
I'm finished.
And I can sit and say, I've been fired, I don't like it. But I choose to look at it as a redirection.
That's right.
There's a new phase of my life that God is starting, and God show me where do you want me to head? What is that thing that I don't know, I've always wanted to do that I can do now? Or do I want to continue looking for? If it's IT, I love being in IT. So do I want to continue? Then it could be as simple as, okay, fine, I want to continue IT then. Perhaps can I upgrade my skills? Because can I upgrade my knowledge? Can I redo my CV? Can I even join? Sometimes it's something as simple as getting into social media, and it's free, and joining networks, groups that talk about that, and just networking with people.
That's right.
And if you're thinking it's a redirection, then where do you want to head? And do you have the skills? You know, what will be required?
That's
right. Same thing. Sometimes it doesn't take much. We know so many people who have actually taught themselves via YouTube. Like the famous, the guy who was doing javelin.
Yego.
So it's those kinds of, I've always had a passion for this. So who do I know in this field that I can learn from?
That's
and I keep on saying, you don't have to have a mentor that we are seated like this. I have so many mentors who don't even know that, but they're guys who I look up to.
That's right.
And I go like, where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years? So who is in that space? And what can I learn from them?
Yes.
And what I did for myself is I went to social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I started following those guys. And I'd pick, I like the way this guy talks. I like the way this lady, carries herself. I like this, I like this. And I keep on saying, why are we reinventing the wheel? Just learn, shorten your learning curve. And it has been amazing, just seeing growth on a day-to-day process, which is another thing that I always say, be kind to yourself. When you're moving along this transition process, you'll have bad days, you'll have good days.
That's right.
You'll have days where you're thinking, oh my goodness, today I'm sending 100 CVs. And you'll have days where you're like, I don't even want to wake up. So it's just understanding that this is a process, and being kind to yourself.
That's right.
And just focusing ahead. So niko hapa, but this is where I want to head.
That's right.
So what can I do? In fact, one small thing can I do today to just move me a step forward?
That's right.
And days are different. So sometimes that one thing would be, I'm tired, I don't have energy, so I'll watch a 10-minute clip about, I don't know, a certain skill that I'm learning. And another would be, I've got so much energy, so half the day I'll get into an online course and do blah, 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 blah. So it's all about focusing ahead and looking at where you're headed.
That's right.
And another thing that really helps along this process of transition is gratitude. And most of the time when you're hurting and you're in a difficult place, it's very hard to find something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
But from my own experience, I've found gratitude is literally life-changing.
Yes.
And I have been in a position where I was finding it very difficult to find something to be grateful for. But I had promised myself, in everything I give thanks. I am here, it sucks, I don't want to be here, but I'm thankful I'm here because I can pick and learn something from here.
Yes.
And what is it that I can be grateful for today? And at times I couldn't find, and I had to actually now look for what I thought then were simple things, but now I realize they're not simple. Because at times I could go like, I'm grateful I can blink. I'm grateful I can sit down. I'm grateful that I can walk. I'm grateful that, I can hold this glass like this. And it was because in my head I was thinking I should be grateful that, I don't know, either I have a lot of money or I have a booming business or I have a spouse that is, I don't know, doing this. But I found gratitude in if you're grateful for the small things, then you'll be grateful for the big things.
Yes.
But if you're not grateful for the small things, then even when the big things come, you'll take them for granted.
That's right.
So gratitude is quite life-changing.
That's right.
Yeah.
There are a few things I've picked. But let me ask you this question just before I share what I've picked from you. How were you able, because you said you were actually praying for, your ex-husband to be changed, but since that relationship broke down, so you must have been disappointed. Probably you got angry, bitter, and you lost your faith somehow. It's like, does this God answer? That trust that you have. How did you overcome that to get to that place now where you have faith and you still believe again?
It's not an easy process.
Yes.
But for me, it was getting to a point where first acceptance.
Yes.
Acceptance of I am here and I had a role to play.
Yes.
I mean, it takes two to make a marriage. It also takes two to break. So I was also part of it.
Yes.
So that was a huge part of the process. Just accepting hata mimi kuna vile.
Yes.
Then doing a lot of introspection of, okay, so if it takes two, so what role did I play in it?
Yes.
And all of a sudden my perspective started changing. Like, hata wewe uko innocent hivo, you know, and just accepting that. And just, I think it was such an aha moment of, by the way, ukweli. So it changed my perspective of how I was looking at him, of even my relationship with God. Like, God, it's not like you're punishing me or you had forgotten me, because sometimes we think it's either God who's forgotten us or it's the devil who's really on our case, but really it's just our own actions catching up with us.
Right.
So I had to get to a point where I'm looking at that and saying, so this was my role.
That's right.
So if this was my role, then what now? So I'm accepting I'm here because I also played a part. But I don't like being here. So how do I get out of this, I don't know, this darkness that I'm in? And it was just a lot of understanding, where do I want to head first? So who is this person? Who am I? Who am I without this? Who am I without this? How am I showing up? What are my values? How am I showing up for myself? How am I showing up in the world? Am I the same person when I'm alone, and am I the same person with people? Who am I? And it was, I keep on saying it was a blessing in disguise, because along the process I'd lost myself, and so this was me rediscovering. And as I did that, it's like someone else was being born, and that person had to take 100% responsibility of, I am here and this is where I want to head, so I'm taking 100% responsibility of just moving a step ahead, every single day. It wasn't easy, that I can tell you like 1,000 times, but it's doable.
That's right. That's really amazing. I believe, just as you've had, if you're out there and you're feeling lost, you're wondering how to begin, first accept. And then, given that, as I love what you said, Njambi, that you get to stop. Actually, when this thing happens, you get to stop and now look inward. See where you're coming from, what you've been doing, and what you can change, what can be transformed. And also understanding that you've not come to the end of your life. If you've been divorced, that relationship has broken down, it's not the end of your life. You still have a life. If you've lost the job, that job was not your life. There's still your life. You have a destiny. So basically, it's now to start, as you do the introspection, I believe also you're seeking for God's guidance to understand, and also you're talking to people so that you can know what you are able to do. You know what you can do. Don't be shy. I think that's also important. Because sometimes you shy off, you want to hide because people knew you a certain way. So you want to hide. You don't want people to know what's happening.
Just to add on to that, I found from my own experience, and especially as ladies, we go through the same experiences. But because we are not sharing, I keep on thinking I'm the only one who's drowning in this.
That's right.
And you look so put together. So when I'm with you, I can't even share with you because I'm thinking, guy atafikiraje juu yangu. And so I'm uko in the darkness, just groping, and probably you've gone through the same experience. And you can help me, you can hold my hand. But because we're not having this genuine conversation,
that's right.
We'd rather talk, I don't know, about our hair or our shoes, or then we don't have authentic connections.
That's
which is,
right.
Which is what you're saying.
That is so true. It's good to be real, and also like what you say, to be kind to each other, and to believe in yourself. Believe that when you're still alive, there's still so much ahead of you, that God is keeping you here for a reason and for a purpose. So once you believe that, you are able now to allow God to shepherd you, to help you find the path where He wants you now to go to. And it's important because this show is about, we honor God. We know that without God, actually, you cannot make it. So it's important for you, even as you're discovering yourself, allow Him to be able to be the one to shape you and show you what He has in store. You can pick yourself up. It doesn't matter where you're at right now. There's no situation that is hopeless. helpless, that you can say, I will never pick myself up from
Very
this.
true.
The thing is, accept, and then once you accept, take responsibility, as Njambi has said. And also now the next thing, I think also it's that place of daring, stepping out, where you don't
be
have
bold,
fear. Be bold.
And have courage.
Yes.
In fact, just like you're mentioning, I've just thought there's a quote that says, we have not been given a spirit of
fear.
timidity,
Yes.
and fear and timidity, but a strong mind. And I keep on thinking, God, if we only could step on, and hold on to that verse, then we'd really get that strength, that courage, that boldness to move that step forward, knowing that you're not just doing this by yourself.
That's right.
But you have divine guidance with you. Even when you're in that place where you're in total darkness, you're not alone.
That's right.
And I can testify for sure, even when I felt, the days that I felt that I couldn't wake up, like, God, this is too much. But even in those days, I can testify and say I wasn't alone. The days I was like, God, please I don't have the grace, so don't even tempt me today, because Leo, if you give me one more thing, nitaanguka, because I don't have the strength. And I could tell I wasn't by myself. I was guided, I was protected, and I was provided for, even in that dark valley.
Yes, look where you are now, Njambi. I believe you're doing well. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, and I don't know what you'd like to leave your viewers with today. What encouragement?
What I would like to say is stepping up and just believing in yourself is not easy. Growth is uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, but it's totally worth it. And for anyone who might be going through a season of darkness, please be encouraged that you're not alone. And I like saying it's a good place to be at. At that point you might not understand, but you're being molded, you're being reshaped, you're being re-energized, you're being redirected. And it might not feel like it, believe me, it might not feel like it at that point, but it will make sense once the chips start falling into place. Like it's always said, we live our lives forwards, but we understand it backwards. And when you're from that season and into the next phase of your life, you look back and you will understand, during that season of darkness, there was so much that was going on, but unfortunately we just see with our physical eyes. So I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm lonely, those are the things that we see, but we don't see the extra activities going on, that you're being molded, you're being redesigned, and you're being either probably even being clipped in terms of whatever you don't need in the next phase then has to be cut, and whatever you need is being instilled in you, but we don't understand that. So if you're in darkness, please understand it's a good place to be, because so much is going on and it will make sense in due time. And all the best. Keep moving.
Wow, that's amazing. I like that. And whatever you do, do not quit.
Exactly.
Keep believing. Keep forging ahead. Whatever you're doing, you feel like doing, just do it afraid. Sometimes, you don't have to have it all together. You don't have even to know how it's going to end, or you don't even have the resources that you need. But if you believe and you start making the steps, everything falls into place. So I encourage you, don't feel alone. Know that there are many people that are going through whatever it is that you're going through. But somehow you must find yourself and believe. Get to that place where you believe in yourself. Share with others. Like Njambi has said, don't go thinking you're all alone. Share with someone else, and probably that person is the one who really helped you to go to the next level, to take the next step. We have to start believing in each other. And Njambi, again, I have to really appreciate you for being here. This is one of those things, that's a support system, standing with each other, believing in the other people, the other person's dream. That is so important. And I encourage each one of us in these hard times, let's believe in each other, support one another. If you can do something for somebody else just to help them go, to the next level, or to become, whatever it is that they desire to be, go out, and help somebody. And maybe before we conclude, you can share where people can find you on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, and my handle is AliceNjambi.thelifecoach. I'm on Instagram as well, and the handle is Alice the Conscious Coach. Twitter is @Conscious Talks, and I'm on LinkedIn as well as Alice the Conscious Coach.
There you have it. And this has been Krystalklia Talk. You can follow us on Instagram, Krystalklia Talk, on Facebook, Krystalklia Talk, on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, like. We are beginning a movement. Welcome on board. God bless. Bye for now.